My girlfriend returned from a month-long business trip with her old flame, only to find that I had changed. She helped her old flame steal my project, but instead of quitting in anger, I busied myself helping him write proposals. For the sake of her old flame's year-end bonus, she ruined the design I had worked so hard on. But rather than trying to prove myself, I took all the blame and accepted her punishment. Even when she wanted to promote her old flame to general manager, breaking company rules, I didn't get angry. Instead, I voluntarily gave up all my shares for my girlfriend to distribute freely. My girlfriend was puzzled by my sudden obedience. Her old flame was smug. "See, I told you the cold treatment would work. Make him lose you once, and he'll become docile." My girlfriend had a moment of realization and smiled, saying I was being good and that she would promote me. She even unexpectedly suggested I propose to her, but she seemed to have forgotten that during our Cold War, she had already signed my resignation letter, and I had already broken up with her. From now on, we would have a clean break, with no more entanglements. "This project proposal is urgent. Have it done before you leave work," Fiona said coldly, dropping a thick stack of documents on my desk before turning to leave. As soon as she disappeared around the corner, my colleagues gathered around, chattering away. "Isn't this Zach's project? His projects are the hardest, with lots of requirements and difficult research. Forget finishing by tonight, it might not even be done by tomorrow evening. The boss is really biased towards him. He doesn't do his own projects but pawns them off to others." They clustered around me, speaking without restraint. I knew full well they weren't really speaking up for me, just stirring up drama. Everyone knew that CEO Fiona was my girlfriend, yet she heavily favored my rival, Zach. Back then, she not only broke protocol to promote Zach to project manager, but she even handed him the $1 million project I had spent a month securing and over a month of sleepless nights nearly completing. When I protested, Fiona put it to a public vote to decide the project's ownership. These colleagues who pretended to speak up for me unanimously voted for Zach when it came time to cast ballots. Afterwards, they explained to me that they were pressured by Fiona's intimidation and asked me to look after the new colleague. This kind of thing happened many times after that. My colleagues were still sympathizing with me, but this time I didn't storm off to Fiona's office to confront her like before. Instead, I calmly accepted the project brief. Seeing this, my colleagues' eyes widened. They were about to say something more when Fiona came down from upstairs. They immediately fell silent and hurried back to their desks. Fiona seemed to be in a good mood and ignored their little movements. She reminded me to leave the completed proposal on her desk. Seeing me nod, she turned on her heel and left without looking back. She had put on elaborate makeup and was wearing a skirt that barely reached her knees. It didn't take much imagination to know she was off to meet Zach. This had been happening frequently over the years. It all started when I discovered Fiona and Zach's goodnight messages to each other. When I confronted her about it, Fiona thought I was being petty and angrily brought Zach into the company, breaking protocol. To punish me for my suspicions, she deliberately favored Zach, taking him to various social events, and even feeding him and wiping his mouth in front of everyone at company dinners. When I got angry, she gave me the silent treatment. When I apologized, she would use it as an opportunity to team up with colleagues to lecture and criticize me. Everyone said I wasn't being a big enough man. I often reflected on this, wondering if I wasn't open-minded enough, which led to our current situation. But later, when I accidentally discovered that Zach was her first love, I finally understood. She was just using the excuse of desensitizing me to my pettiness as a cover to openly maintain her connection with her old flame. Even without the incident of me seeing their chat history, Fiona would have found other excuses to be with Zach. After they returned from their recent business trip together, although they still frequently met for meals, drinks, and sports like before, I could sense that their relationship had become more subtle. But fortunately, I no longer cared. Our 5-year relationship had come to an end. This farce needed to end too. After finishing the proposal, I was the only one left in the office. I opened my phone to find that Zach had posted